Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Today is July 28, 2022. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. As a reminder, this meeting is public, recorded, and posted on YouTube. On the agenda today, we're going to go over the 125 planning session. Reminder here, the upcoming code freeze is August 2, so coming up very quickly. If you have features that you are developing, please keep that date in mind. If you have any PRs that need attention or designs that need attention, feel free to add to the agenda. You can find the agenda link in your calendar invite. And we already have some topics for discussion that we'll get to. So first, let's go ahead and jump into the 125 planning spreadsheet and get status updates on the features that folks are working on. Starting with delegate FS group to CSI driver instead of kubelet, including updating end-to-end tests, CSI updates. Is Hemant on the line?
He's on PTO. I believe there was no update and the CSI spec PR is still in review, I believe.
Got it. I can help take a look at the CSI spec, please. Next up, we have recovering from Resize failure end-to-end tests.
I don't have any update here. I think nothing has been done in the past 2 weeks.
Okay, we'll mark that one as no update. And then we have issues related to assuming volumes or mount points. Jing, are you on the call?
Yes. So I think this, can you see, check the next one? I forgot it's.
Determine mount points without relying on proc mounts.
So there are two related mount point PRs, and both are merged finally. And but for this one's assuming mount point, I think that is still needs some work. But the PR merged is related to maybe item 5 more or less. So one is use fast approach, faster way to check mount point using the newer kernel, if the kernel support that. And the other is it will skip mount point check during mount cleanup if it's not needed. So both of them will definitely help a lot for like checking the mount point that before there is some performance issue or there is.
Nice, awesome. That's great news. So it sounds like number 5 is done and number 4 is still in progress.
Yes, I think there are probably still a little bit issue we want to address. But with those two PRs merged, definitely, I think the performance issue related to checking mount point will got improved. Got it.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll keep that one open and then we'll go ahead and close out number 5. Number 6 has already been marked as done. We'll move to number 7, CSI ephemeral volumes existing API.
I have the FeatureGate PR open. I know Michelle and Jordan already started taking a look, so it's in review. Hopefully that'll be ready in time for feature freeze. And I have the placeholder doc PRs open. The last thing I need to do soon is to update the issue description. I don't have permission to do that. So my question is, is there some way for you to grant me permission to update the issue description, or should I just paste it over to you to update?
You're talking about the feature issue?
Yes, the enhancement issue.
Yeah, you can go ahead and send in the SIG storage Slack a message to me, Jan, Michelle, and Xing, and one of us will go ahead and update it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Saad, I don't know if we have this is in the issue itself, enhancement issue itself, right? Is that only the person who opened the issue has permission to update that top section?
That is a good question.
But
No.
is that maybe Saad, maybe you own that one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
that
any
should
case,
help.
I'll ping you on Slack.
Yeah, go ahead and ping me. I should be able to update it.
Cool.
Yeah, I should be able to update it too. At least I was at some point. Checking. Yep, I can update issues.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jonathan. We'll follow up offline. Next is local ephemeral storage resource management.
Yes, so we want to promote a GA, and I just opened the PR for the change. It's a little bit complicated than before, so because we realized there are some system, like especially rootless system, that cannot support this since they cannot correctly check the root file system. And in order to, avoid breaking, right now those systems just disable the feature since it's beta. But once we remove feature gate, it will break their testing. So in order to support those systems, I talked to Signal a few times, so they agree. I add a kubelet config to still allow system right to disable this feature. So my PR add that kubelet config called the local storage capacity isolation, and by default is true. And otherwise, for the rootless system, they can use that to, disable that feature. So yeah, I think please review that change. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Jing. Seems like a nice improvement. Next up, we have volume group API, snapshot consistency groups, and spreading. This is a design for this cycle. Anything new here, Xing?
So, so I did find out a few implementations of this. So I'm just looking at those. Some of them uses the two object model. So it's very similar to what we have in the current CAP, but others just use one. So I think I'm going to summarize those in a document.
Got it. Cool. Thank you, Xing. Next two are complete, so we'll skip that. Next two we dropped from the 1.25 cycle, so we'll skip that. Moving on to CSI volume health, additional metrics and or events, end-to-end tests, staying in alpha for this cycle. Anyone have an update on this one?
Yeah, the tests are not out yet. I need to ping Ran again. He was working on that, but I don't think he has finished it.
Okay. Thank you, Xing. Next is object storage API, Cozy. Anyone have an update on this?
So I think it is in progress. Tim has been working on updating the APIs and this, the Cozy spec, bring it up, and also update the CI/CD pipeline. There are actually, I see there are some people working on this one actually on the call. I don't know if you guys want to speak up, please go ahead. Okay, otherwise we have a meeting after this one.
Sounds good. So it sounds like APIs are being updated to address kept comments and changes. Hopefully we'll get that in before the code freeze. All right, next up we have
I think this one, since it's outer tree, so right, it's not like that strictly following that. This one is kind of like tracked outer tree.
You're talking about number 22?
I'm talking about Cozy because we have been, this one has been tracked outer tree that we moved it out.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
but we were hoping to get this one, get a code, get everything done by the end of this month. I'm not sure if we are there yet, because there was also the the building image and that part. I'm not sure if I'll track a little longer than that. Yeah, but I think work will continue even after the code freeze.
Got it. Okay. I guess it's like the external provisioner and things like that, where we can set our own deadlines.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Next up is node expansion secret. Any update on this one? I see a comment from Humble.
On the call.
Implementation is updated. Implementation is part of 125. Blog PR is open and doc PR is ready to merge. So that's awesome. I'll go ahead and copy that over. So that looks like it's close to completion. Next is SE Linux relabeling using mount options.
So I got preliminary API review from Michelle, and I have implementation of most of the functionality. I'm adding unit tests right now, but I am pretty sure I will not finish the volume reconstruction until the feature freeze. So everything the feature will work, we can test it, but after you restart kubelet, then all the states in kubelet will be lost, and it's not able currently, well, it will not be able to reconstruct it from the mounts on the machine in 125, because like that's Haman just reworked the reconstruction, and I can't do that. I can't add S Linux to reconstruction in 2 days or 3 days. So the question is what to do. Shall we like merge it, half implement it, and continue next release, or merge it completely in 126?
I think it's fine to merge it. It's under an alpha gate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I think that's fine.
So yeah, I'm adding the last unit tests, and if you have time, then please take a look.
Yep. +1 to Michelle. I think that sounds good to me. Since it's an alpha feature under feature flag and disabled by default. Okay to have it partially complete and then finish it in the next cycle. Okay. Moving on to CSI migration, move core to GA. There was a code PR to flip feature gate that was merged, bug on volume limit merged, but docs and blog were open. Anyone know status of this?
So I pinged Jolly for the blog. He said he will write one. I'm not sure about other things. But we also need a doc PR.
Yeah. Hopefully Jawei can help with that as well. Can you check with him?
Yeah, I can ask him.
Okay. Then we have vSphere CSI migration. Anything new here?
So, right, so we have that PR, the PR to turn this on by default, it got merged, and then there's another PR to address a command basically just to say we dropped support for vSphere version lower than SMOU2. That one is also merged. Yeah, I think the code wise, this is done. I think next thing is to update docs. So I do have a question because there's a thread. I wish Haman was here because he was the one who brought it up. regarding the Windows, there was a question regarding the Windows support, because right now that is still alpha. You're asking if when we bring this to, if we move this to GA, what is the plan for the Windows support? So right now the problem for the Windows support is the blocker is that bug we opened in the CSI proxy. That's the performance issue because of the power share and because of that, it caused the performance issue. We do not have a way to solve that. So that's the blocking one, the blocking us from GA, the Windows feature. I remember when I brought this one last time, I think the suggestion is that if we can have like feature parity, so like compare this with how it is if we use the entry Windows support. But the problem is the Windows one does not use PowerShell, does not use the CSI proxy, right? So it doesn't have this particular problem. Even though the Windows feature, we don't even know who is using the Windows feature entry anyway. We don't really have any customers asking about that. That one was, because that one was, yeah.
I think, Xing, the main question I had was because in the bug, the results, the performance results were comparing against a Linux run. And
Right.
I think it's better that we compare against Windows to Windows, because it is known that Windows consumes more resources than Linux. So
you think it still have some value just to compare that, how that works using the entry version? Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's actually a good point. I think, yeah, the thing is, I think our performance team does not sign up for this one because of that. But okay, I will bring this back just to ask them to still, try to do this and see if we can compare. Okay, good point.
Yeah. I just imagine, because I do think in general Windows will not scale as much as Linux. So I think I want to make sure
you're saying even
we're
if
doing like a fair comparison here.
Right. So you're saying even with this, maybe there is some performance overhead added by the PowerShell, but if we are comparing that to Windows host, it's maybe the difference is not that much. That's what you mean. Right? Okay, sure. That's fair. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if Jing, do we run Windows in scalability tests at all? Okay, well, maybe that's something we can follow up with SIG Windows to see if they have scalability tests for Windows nodes.
I do remember someone said that definitely much slower. So yeah, I have seen some numbers, but I don't know if it's
okay.
like a skill.
But yeah, maybe this is something we should bring up in the next SIG Windows meeting or ping in the Windows Slack channel.
Right,
and
yeah,
see if we can get some scalability expectations from
just
them.
compare, right? So like compare the Windows with Linux, maybe they have some numbers already.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you for the follow-up there. Moving on, we have GCE, CSI Migration going to GA. Any updates here? Anyone? Is Matt online?
I can give an update for Matt if he's not here. Yeah. I think he's currently trying to fix the CI because I think there was a change a while ago to disable the GCE test by default, and the way that they disabled the test is not compatible with Cube Test 2. And so Matt is trying to find another way to disable those tests. And I think he has a PR out. And so I think once he can get the tests running again, then I think we can merge the change.
Got it. Cool. Thank you, Michelle, for the update. Next up, we have AWS CSI migration. Any word from Matt on this one?
So he gave an update on Slack saying that he has a work in progress PR. He's in the process of testing Windows and also upgrade test. Hopefully to get that done by the end of this week.
Cool. Thank you, Shing, for the update. Looks like that's on track. Next up, we have CSI migration. Sorry, go
I have
ahead.
a question, sorry, about the OpenStack. So I think Deems has this question. He's asking when we can remove the Cinder in-tree plugin. So I think it was originally we said it's 1.26, but now because the core CSI migration, I believe that's what GA. I believe that one says 1.27 we can remove. Is that so? That means that everything has to wait until 1.27. Is that right?
I think if it was GA in one, if Cinder was GA in 1.26.
Remove. Okay, yeah. So when we can remove the plugin, each plugin, is that after 2 release, or do we have to wait for the core or something? I guess that's the question.
I think it doesn't really matter what is the status of the core.
Okay.
Because Cinder is migrated in 1.24 and you cannot turn it off.
Okay.
You
So
must
you're
have
saying
Cinder
like
migrated.
So you're saying in 1.26 we can remove it. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, that was the initial in the blog, the Jawei put out there. That's the target, right? So it's 1.24 GA, 1.26 remove. Okay, so in that case, I will let Deems know he can.
It is
submit a
weird that we G8 Cinder without GAing the core, but I think the core feature gate doesn't really matter here.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Next up, we have Ceph RBD and Ceph FS. I think Humble left comments on these. Existing inline in-tree tests are failing heavily on master branch, even without migration. So we are trying to correct those issues, but various issues are encountered on the path due to fact that there are tests that are broken for a long time. Still trying, and its current blocker for beta state change PR to get merged. So looks like this is in progress and may not make it, but let's keep an eye on it. And for the second one, PR is up, but end-to-end test is not complete yet. So also questionable if it's going to make it. Okay. Next up is CSI migration for Portworx. Anyone have an update on that?
I think last I heard is the PR is merged. The code PR, the main code PR is merged. So it's just docs. I don't know if the doc is out yet. I'll need to check.
Okay, looks like it's pretty close though. So we'll leave that open. Next up was Gluster FS. So there's a big discussion around this today. So after some heavy discussion on this topic, deprecation mail has been sent to KDev and SIG storage. The current plan is to mark for deprecation and code removal in 126 due to unmaintained dependency issue. More details in the email thread. So yeah, if folks are interested, look at the email thread in SIG storage that Dim started. So plan here is going to be to deprecate. Next up is always honor reclaim policy. Mostly adding end-to-end tests here. Anything new here?
No, no test yet.
Okay. Next up is control volume mode conversion between source and target PVC. Also end-to-end tests.
Yeah, so Ronak is looking at this one.
Got
It's
it.
still working in progress.
Okay. Next up, we have secret protection and in-use protection. Anything new here? Is Misaki on the line? Okay, we'll just copy over the same status. This was designed for the cycle. Next up is non-graceful node shutdown end-to-end tests.
Yeah, we actually have we do have a PR out.
Nice.
It's been reviewed. And there's also a PR. One PR is the test. The other one is just to need to add a job to the test grid. So both are out.
Okay, cool. Good progress. Thank you, Sheng. Next is address issues PVC created by stateful set will not be auto removed. End-to-end test ready was the last status. Anything new? Okay, so we'll mark that as no update for now. Volume expansion for stateful sets.
I think Haman this is still on his to-do list to review the PEP.
I think we had trouble finding an owner for this one, so.
There is a someone that I think it's I added his name there. The first name.
Got it.
This person has a CAP PR out, waiting
Oh,
for Haman to review basically.
Oh, that's good progress. Okay. Thank you, Sheng. Next up, we have better default storage class. Anything new
The
here?
first version of PR was posted and I am reviewing it. Looks like we can make it into the release if I can get API review actually. There is no new API. I just need to change the we just need to change the validation, and that's considered to be API change 2. So yeah, there is, I don't know, 2 or 3 line change in the validation.
Got it. Cool. Thank you, Jan. Looks like it's pretty close. Hopefully it'll make it in. Then we have handle per volume CSI driver capabilities. This was designed for this cycle. Anything new here?
So we have mostly an agreement about the design. The sticking point for this one was how we would handle scheduling of pods with the wait for first consumer PVCs, because the solution involves basically Kubernetes knowing about the volume subtype, and the scheduler can't know that subtype until the PVC is provisioned. So you have a funny dependency problem in trying to schedule pods with PVCs that don't exist yet. But I have a proposed solution for that problem. I need to talk to Michelle about it. But more importantly, I am switching jobs, and I won't personally be carrying this one forward. I'm going to try to find someone to carry it forward in my stead tomorrow. But I can't promise that we'll definitely be doing this. So that's you know, I'll certainly update the doc with where we leave things, and if someone wants to carry it forward, the design will all be there.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Ben, for getting it this far. And yeah, folks on the call, if you're interested in helping drive this forward, please reach out to the SIG leads or to Ben, and we can we can get that moving. And congrats, Ben. Excited to hear where you're going to go.
All right.
Next up, we have, I think, a comment from Humble on a PR. Looks like this is already closed, so I'm going to go ahead and resolve that. Okay, switching back to meeting notes. So yeah, primary point of discussion today, there was a cluster FS dependency that is no longer maintained. And so DIMS was reaching out and suggesting immediate deprecation of that dependency at the very least and removal of it from the code base. Ideally, he's suggesting either deprecation in 125 and removal in 126, or jumping immediately to removal in this release in 125. As Shing pointed out, the challenge here is that this dependency is consumed by the Gluster FS in-tree plugin. And there's a whole question around, what's the plan for actually deprecating Gluster FS? So there is a new thread that has been started about this topic. And I think after lots of back and forth, the conclusion appears to be that we will deprecate Gluster FS in 125 and remove code in 126. And there will be communication sent out to Kubernetes/dev to see if anyone objects to this plan. So I guess amongst this group, any objections? Anyone have different ideas, any concerns, comments? Okay, so I guess that's going to be our plan moving forward. We're going to put deprecation notices in 125 for Gluster FS, and then remove the code in 126. And we'll try to communicate this as widely as possible so that there are few surprises. All right, anyone else have any topics for discussion today? Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and end a little bit early today. Thanks a lot, folks. See you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.